Hello and welcome to Anime Lore and Theory video. I'm Shergok, your host, and today we are going to take a closer look at what Shizu Delta thought about Neia Baraja and how her opinions about the vicious looking girl had changed over the course of their shared time together. But before we're going to take a closer look at any of this, let me quickly thank my patrons for supporting this channel, as well as say thanks to all users of the YouTube thanks function for making one-time donations. And with that said, let's get to the topic at hand. Shizu Delta is one of the 7 Pleiades battlemates of the Great Tomb of Nezarec, and she is part of the 6 regular Pleiades who can also be deployed outside of the Great Tomb of Nezarec, which likely isn't the case for Auriel Omega, since she is responsible for the teleportation network in the Great Tomb of Nezarec. With a level of 46, Shizu Delta is officially the weakest of the Pleiades battlemates, but thanks to her good character build, excellent equipment, and optimal use of her skill points, she is likely much stronger than someone of comparable level and skill. Shizu Delta is also special for 2 other reasons. Not only is she an automaton, an artificial being that doesn't even count as a living creature, thus making her immune to death magic or similar effects, unless they are reinforced by the skill the goal of all life is death, but she is also incapable of showing emotions. In other words, she can't smile, cry, laugh, or display anger on her face, and her voice is always very monotone and seemingly devoid of emotions. However, despite her inherently cold character build, Shizu Delta is one of the very few inhabitants of the Great Tomb of Nezarec with a positive karma value. In other words, she belongs to a small group of NPCs for whom outsiders aren't just maggots or tools to be basically used and then disregarded, but instead she tends to be kind to people. She can develop empathy and compassion, and doesn't hold a grudge against other outsiders from the Great Tomb of Nezarec, unless they oppose, attack, or demean her and the Great Tomb and Eins in some way, shape, or form. And this of course raises the question, what does Shizu Delta think of Neia Baraja? And the first meeting was a bit chilly, as Shizu simply called Neia Murderer Girl due to her sharp gaze, which naturally scared her and also Neia a little bit. Later, Shizu Delta waited for Neia Baraja in a dark room, and I just realized what I said, and the next impression Shizu had was somewhat less frightening. She also noticed Neia's sharp, seemingly malicious eyes and facial features, but found her somewhat cute and endearing even back then. Hence why she tried to stick a 1-yen sticker on her forehead. And this gesture was meant as a sign of respect and recognition from Shizu to Neia, but for Neia, Shizu was still an unfamiliar demon from Yaldabaoth. So she panicked and didn't know what had been attached to her. However, Shizu understood that Neia was panicking and helped her. And despite this initial misunderstanding, they still managed to connect. In other words, even though Shizu Delta's first impression of Neia Baraja was mixed, Shizu realized that Neia didn't mean any harm and was nervous herself. And later they drank a milkshake together, and Neia was delighted by the sweet taste, as it was something very unusual for her. Her meals were more medieval, rustic, and peasant-like. So sweet treats like that were naturally a luxury from Neia's perspective. Later, when Einzulgon informed the world of his supposed early retirement, Neia Baraja's world collapsed. While Jerknif was quite skeptical of this message and prepared to prepare for the worst case scenario, suspecting that Eins might still be alive, Neia accepted the news as truth and broke down in bitter tears. And it was Shizu Delta who comforted Neia and dried her tears with a handkerchief, and assured her that the Sorcerer King was not only alive but also well. In other words, behind her cold and emotionless exterior, Shizu Delta already, even before they had been working together for a long time, showed compassion and the desire to help to Neia. And later, the two grew even closer, partially because they completed an infiltration mission together and also because they assembled a team to rescue the Sorcerer King. And during this time, Shizu Delta was naturally quite enthusiastic about how much Neia Baraja admired Einzulgon, and how highly she regarded him. And this of course was something that resonated well with an NPC from the Great Tomb of Nezarec, and confirmed and further strengthened the positive impression Shizu had of Neia. And during the infiltration mission to rescue some hostages, Shizu Delta had already become so convinced of Neia that Neia in turn thought that Shizu was smiling, even though she can't physically move her mouth, in this way at least. And Shizu Delta openly stated that she found Neia Baraja cute. And their relationship deepened even more after that, as they worked together and wanted to tell everyone how amazing Einzelgon truly was. And this worked well for Shizu Delta, who constantly urged Neia to show everyone her bow. So the mass gatherings that Neia held were also very successful from Shizu Delta's perspective, because it was basically also a sales pitch that Shizu, after much trouble, could finally kick off. And thanks to the visor, the people were also not scared about Neia Baraja's sharp eyes and her appearance, and she became known as the Faceless One. And eventually both grew so close that they snuggled and cuddled together. And when they departed from the Holy Kingdom, Ainz and Shizu Delta had a conversation, and Ainz was genuinely happy that Shizu Delta had found a friend, and he even allowed her to use teleportation magic to visit Neia Baraja, which is a very happy ending for the battlemate and for Neia should they never appear in the story again. However, the fact that Einzelgon openly revealed that he had altered Shizu's mind so that she falsely remembered her layout of the Great Tomb of Nezarec suggested that she might eventually be captured or interrogated about basically the entire structure of the Great Tomb. And again, this could mean that they will still appear in the story at some later point. And of course, all of this raises the question of what their relationship really is now. And their bond resembles the Japanese concept of Senpai and Kohai, someone from a higher class supporting and helping someone from a lower class. And by the way, this is also a trainer type in Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald. And this dynamic is reflected in their weaponry as well. Neia has a bow, while Shizu has one or rather many guns that surpass the bow in power. Shizu is also much stronger than Neia Baraja, and her items are way more powerful. In other words, Shizu sees Neia more of a little sister and junior partner, while Neia looks up to Shizu Delta. And now it's your turn. Let me know what you think about the relationship of the two and what Shizu Delta thinks about Neia Baraja and how her impression improved about the vicious-looking girl. And while you type, please check out my German channel, my fantasy channel, and if you don't want to listen to my voice or accent, but are still interested in the things I have to say, I have made an AI channel where I use AI voiceovers for my videos. And the channels are all linked down in the video description. Also, please check out my Patreon if you want to support me beyond just leaving a like or sub. And with that said, thank you very much for watching, thanks to my Patreons for supporting this channel, and as usual, special thanks to Ada Daddy Ada, ASK, Bad Guy Ye, Bad Burrito 316, Bezer, Ben C, Brandon D, Chrissy, Crowley 0221, Sia, Crystal Prime, Dead Slime, Death is Mercy, Deathless Dragonlord, Demon Xenomorph 1987, Devin Downen, Ding Dong, Dan Pep, Dragonlord Placido Saxophone, Duckwagon, Dunkler Krieger, Dystopia II, Enigmatic Unicorn, Feral Shivan, Guy with That Head, Hector Marino, Hoss, Huster, Jacob G, Jana B, Jason, J. Morris, Chromius, Kyle R, Lee K. Long, Legendarius, Lelouch V. Britannia with a Mustache, Lexus Fox, Lord Nishiki and Rai, Lord Touch Me, Lofrazer, Merovec, Mr. Shoes, Mr. Tweaker, Michael R, Michael Y, Nope, Oh Hell No, Normal Toad, O'Kill, Overlord General Gasper, Paddy Pantum, Personage, Ruru, Primus 11, Rhinomere, Cune Caracos P, Shergox's Daddy, Shadow Lightning Wolf, Shrine Keeper, Sir Axolotl, Super Tier Magic Batista Bomb, Supreme Cheese, Staris, Ted, Texas Deer, The Orc Warboss, Rocket Smasher, T.E. Wang, Vash Hawkeye, Vegito27, Venture Fanatic, Wilhelm, Zinukai, and Sonagon. Thanks guys. Anyway, have a nice day, and I hope to see you all again soon on my next video.